Welcome, welcome. You're here.
Mm-hmm.
The Transferable Experience Podcast.
Yes, sir.
Episode 5.
Oh, yes, sir.
Man, we here. What a week.
What a week. What a week.
A week.
We just want to say this right now to all our listeners, those in state, that'll be Texas, and all those out of state. It is a welcome sight. And to see my boy Ed again, to see that he's made it through this week, it's kind of like common knowledge to know what the state of Texas has been through in these last 5 days. So to be here with y'all is just a blessing, and to be here healthy, strong, and in stable conditions.
Yeah,
it's really a joyous thing. Let me get a round of applause for that, man. Let me get a round of applause for that. So, like Ed said, we're here with the Transferable Experience Podcast. Ed, you want to tell them to do all the things?
all the things.
Do all the things, like, share.
But let's just get into it, man.
Come on, man.
Just
Yeah.
week, man.
I'm tired of this. It's been a very mentally exhausting week.
Well, we'll just start from last Friday.
Okay.
So I'm at work, and they're like saying, oh, yeah. Because, it was predicted during that week that we might have quote unquote bad weather. But
Right.
Nothing ended up happening because it's Texas.
Right.
And so then Friday, everyone was like, yeah, I think the weather is going to be like bad. So we're probably going to miss Monday. So we'll just see everyone Tuesday, but we won't cancel work until the day of.
Right.
Because like I said, it was still up in the air. People didn't know. So I took that approach. I was like, oh, okay, well, it's not really much to go off of, but so I went into like that Saturday thinking the beginning of Saturday thinking like, oh, okay, well, I might miss work Monday. So let me just cook enough and get a little bit more groceries than usual to offset the fact that I might be in the house Monday. But luckily, because of how, I just do stuff when I went to get groceries and whatnot, like I moved as though I was going to have work the rest of the week. So I went ahead and got everything I needed to meal prep and stuff so I wouldn't have to go to the store.
Efficient.
Yeah. So that ended up saving me. Because, man.
Yes.
It was. I think when it hit Sunday, that's when I realized, oh, no, this is. Yeah.
We going to need a bigger boat.
Yeah. This not a one-day thing.
Okay. Are you done? Give me your account because I want to give mine. But I want to give you the.
Well,
space.
we'll start with the up until Sunday.
Okay,
because that was up until Sunday.
Okay, Friday I had to work, and even Friday, my nature of work involves me climbing on roofs and everything like that. So even Friday and Thursday, we were experiencing some icy conditions on the roofs that we were inspecting. So I was like, oh man, like these roofs are looking pretty bad. And I'm looking at the weather like, oh, it's only going to get even worse over the weekend. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what I'm going to do? Not to mention Valentine. Valentine was Sunday. It was Valentine weekend. So I was caught in the midst of getting the things I needed to get for my lovely lady, but also getting things that I think that I was going to need for Monday. Because in my head, I'm thinking, okay, it's going to be a cold weekend. Sunday, even if it wasn't snowing, it's going to be so cold that I'm just going to make this gumbo and just lock it down. Because I was very skeptical about us going to work Monday. So Friday, kind of like yourself, I went to the store, got the things that I thought I would need to survive. To survive until Monday. Yeah. And I was like, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this gumbo Sunday, eat on that, and just lock it down for Monday. Then Tuesday we'll go back to work and everything will be the same. That was my thinking going into the weekend.
Yeah, see, I think that was everybody's approach. Because look, I literally made gumbo Sunday too. Okay. And I was thinking like, okay, worst case scenario, I can eat off of this Sunday, Monday, and even Tuesday if I need to.
Right. If it's just call for that.
But I didn't even think I would get to that point. I was just thinking Monday, This will pass over. Tuesday, life will be back to normal.
Right. And I can say in my own naive Texas mind, like, because for Texans, like, if it get below 20, it's like, okay, what we doing? You know what I mean? In my own naive Texas mind, I was thinking, okay, it's going to get a little bad. It's going to get a little snowy. We might get a little, a little snow, but it ain't going to be too bad because it's Texas. Like, it don't never get, I'm
going to say, I've literally witnessed it snow a day, then the next day it's just clear.
Yeah,
like nothing
60.
never happened. And like you say, like, maybe I wasn't watching the right news outlets because never did I see anything say, oh, we have a winter storm approaching.
Right.
Be able to be indoors for 3 to 5 days.
That wasn't the narrative at all. It was like, hey, guys, it's going to get very cold this weekend. You might get a little snow. If you're going to be somewhere, be prepared to kind of be there Monday. And then we'll be all right. Like, so, moving forward, tell me how your Sunday went.
My Sunday was like, I knew stuff was a little off when I came home Saturday night because I came home because I knew the weather was supposed to start at like 3:00 in the morning Sunday. So I was like, let me make sure I'm home Saturday night at the all right time and like, because I said I needed some stuff for my gumbo still, so I had to like stop at Kroger or something and like I noticed I was like I was looking at the cabinets like the shelves and stuff. I was like, stuff out like all the bread gone, all the egg, and coming from Southeast Texas, that's what you see like pre-hurricane,
right.
It's like,
what this is?
I was like, are people overreacting? Because the pandemic, people kind of like honestly overreacted when it came to food and stuff.
Panic buying.
I was like, is that what's happening, or am I underprepared? But again, like I had enough stuff, so I didn't really think about it. But that Sunday, I woke up, it was snowing. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then like I went ahead and got like a notification from my job saying, yeah, we're not coming in tomorrow. And I said, oh, okay, bet. I got a, off Monday. That would be cool. And it was just like, it was snowing, but it was like, quote unquote, oh, this is nice. And just the regular Sunday. Like I just was chilling. Like I was in the house, had my little gumbo.
Right.
Everything was cool. And then Monday, I think that's what stuff changed. It's like when I got that text from work saying we're closed indefinitely, I was like, huh?
Oh my God.
Because like, keep in mind, these are like, they don't tell us until the day of that morning if stuff's going to be shut down. So when I seen that and they said indefinitely, and I was like, okay, maybe this is a little bit more serious. Because I seen, I was like, okay, it's more snow. Dang, like it's coming down. Then that's when I started, like hearing about people that losing their electricity and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, man.
Was your electricity off at that point?
When I started hearing about people's electricity off during the day, Monday, no, my stuff was on. I didn't lose electricity until 11:00 that night, Monday night. So, like I say, like it had started getting real during Monday during the day. I was like, oh, people really losing power. Like, I was like, oh shoot, because I guess I was just like talking to the lucky few. The people I knew that they didn't lose power immediately, so I didn't realize like
it was that like
the severity of it.
Yeah, severity. I don't know, like that Saturday, the Saturday prior was just a regular Saturday. It got cold. It was like, oh, it's cold. You know what I mean? Like it's really cold. Like on your bones, cold. Sunday came. Like you said, it was just a regular Sunday. I went to the stores. I started gathering my stuff together to start my gumbo and stuff like that. And then, time went on and I started realizing like, oh man, like you said, like I started looking at like the weather updates and ironically, my job ain't tell me nothing. Like I was under the pressure like, am I working tomorrow or not? I don't know. So at that point, I don't know. I started making my gumbo. I all my tools. I got everything. I made all my preparations. Got all my concessions. Okay,
you made your roof from scratch too, huh?
I did.
Man,
I
you
did.
fancy.
Hey, I was in that thing working my wrist for a good 40, 50 minutes getting that thing right. But no. So while that was happening, while we was making the roof, my girlfriend says, "Oh, look, it's snowing outside." I look outside and it's like it's snowing. It's snowing. I was like, "Oh, okay." Like you say, it's nice. Okay, here goes the snow. We don't really get that a lot here in Texas and everything like that. It was kind of like an exciting thing.
Yeah,
that's what I'm about to say. Going into it, it was kind of like exciting. Like, oh, we're gonna get snow. Like,
a little snow day.
Yeah, a little snow day. So that's what I was dealing with, and then it was still snowing. You know what I mean? Like Sunday night, it's still snowing. I'm like, oh man, it's still snowing. Like I'm looking outside my patio, it's starting to accumulate on the ground. It's like, oh, I can't see the grass no more. I can't see the rocks. Like, okay, it's snowing. And then it went in and out. And like you said, like it was really, the forecast was forecasted that it was going to really snow like that morning, like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So we make our gumbo. We went to sleep. Lights was still on. You know what I mean? Electricity is still here. So we good. I'm like, oh man, it's going to be one of them days where we locked in for Monday and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then Monday come. And we woke up and it was a little chill in the air throughout the apartment. And I woke up and I said, man, it's colder than usual. Like, I don't know. Either my heat not like that or something else is happening. Sure enough, I go to the restroom and I go to flick the light. No lights came on. I said, oh, this Monday morning. I said, oh man, like the electricity is off. It's off. And then I woke my girl up. I said, hey, the power gone. The power is gone. And this flips the whole attitude I had about what was going. It flipped it on his head. And I was like, oh, we're in a more serious situation than I thought we was. You know what I mean? And then that's when it kind of started for us that Monday morning. And man. And you know, I would say this, like, I'm no stranger to being without power. Like I've dealt with that throughout my life coming up in other situations. Like you said, like hurricane times, that happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you got some sacrifice paying for bills and stuff, you might experience that.
Yep.
But when that happened, it was a little different. It was a little different notion to what this means. I said, oh, this is an infrastructural thing that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Because I pay my bill. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And that's, and even then, I'm sorry, but even then, in my mind, I'm like, okay, the lights went out. Okay, that happens. We'll just see what happens from here. And to let you know, that was only, little did I know, that was only the precursor to what was going to happen for the rest of the week. So, I don't know, man.
Did they ever come back on Monday for you?
They did.
What time was that they came back on?
Ooh, they probably came on 2 to 3 hours later.
Okay.
I say more towards 2 hours later. It even then it was like relief. Like, oh, okay, there it is. The problem's fixed. And then the light was on for like another 2 to 3 hours. Then they went out again. And I said, oh my.
Yeah.
This is the thing. So this was what caused me to run to my phone and start checking the news outlets and everything like that. And they began explaining the rolling blackouts. Did you experience any of that? Or were you aware that was being initiated? Because I know you live in a different part of the Metroplex than me.
Yeah, I think someone had something saying, talking about the rolling blackout. So I instantly thought, okay, let me charge everything. Because I was like, because I had got word of that Monday morning. So I was like, let me go ahead and charge everything and be prepared. That way, when they go out, I'm not shocked So I spent like all Monday kind of like
preparing.
Yeah, a little paranoid. Like, it's supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen. So it's like I had everything pretty much the whole day, but it wasn't like I was able to just relax because I was just thinking to myself like it's bound to happen. So just get everything in order. Like I charged laptop, phone. I just was just like ready just at any moment. And then the funny thing is when I finally I was like, okay, it's 11. I think, I don't know if it's where I'm located geographically. I was like, maybe I'm okay because of that. I was like, I don't know, but I can finally, like, I remember, like, I don't know why I ate so late that day, but like I had my food in front of me and I was about to hit play on the game, like to start the basketball game. Just whoop. I was like, yep. I just nodded. I was like, you just
accepted the circumstances.
Yeah, I was like, I was ready for it. So I was like, yeah. And then at that point it was 11 o'clock. So I'm thinking, go to bed, wake up. I even dreamed of having electricity. Like, man, I dreamed of having electricity. Woke up, got up, hit that restroom light, nothing happened. I was like,
that always pique your interest right there. You're like, oh, okay.
Bro, I had a dream that I had electricity, man. It's like those like modern day, because we talked about that on the apartment episode. It's like those like modern day luxuries that
you take it for granted.
Yeah, that you just taken for granted.
You just expect it to be there. And it's such a shock, right? It's such a, I was going to use the word, it's such a violent thing. And not in the sense of like harm, but like something unforeseen being pressed upon you. You know what I mean? And that's what it felt like. And my first thing when situations like that happen, I'm the kind of guy, Ed, I could deal with struggle and I can accept situations as long as I'm able to conceptualize it. Like, if I can wrap my head around what's happening, it'll give me more comfort in dealing with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I began to look and everything like that, and I found out that the source or the root of what was happening was there was our power grid was pretty much not able to sustain that many people.
Yeah, because this wasn't like just like Dallas was experiencing, whether it was the state of Texas.
The state of Texas. And for those that don't know, our power grid, the Texas power grid, is a standalone power grid. So the East Coast has theirs, and they're interconnected, like as a unit. There's the Western power grid that's interconnected as a unit. And then there's the ERCOT. And for those that don't, ERCOT, what is it? The energy, what is it? Energy.
I think it's the electrical reliability
Council of Texas.
Yeah.
And that's who kind of oversees the power grid here in Texas. And they make the important decisions, the executive decisions of like who get power and whatnot. And this I'm gonna just call it a disaster because I think our governor did declare it a disaster on Monday. It began uncovering some stones about our power grid and how we manage energy here in the state of Texas. So I'm gonna read you something that I found. First of all, it says Texas has a standalone power grid that is deregulated. When you hear that, is there an immediate reaction?
Well, it's deregulated, so it's the wild, wild west because the government has no part in it, no control over it.
And this is what it says. So there was a moment where we were like, okay, why is this happening? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the byproduct of this? What is going on? ERCOT, this might have been some people's first time even hearing ERCOT.
Definitely mine. I've never heard.
You know
of
what I
ERCOT
mean?
until
Like
now.
my mama told me, she was like, "Bro, I never heard of that until just now." You know what I mean? And from what I'm understanding, from what I was reading, I'm going to read you a little passage. It says, "Of course, the power equipment operates in places that are much colder in Texas. So one step that can be taken would be to winterize equipment." Mm-hmm. So, and when I read that, I was thinking, okay, here we are in Texas. We don't have winterized equipment because we don't never expect for a winter to be this cold in Texas.
It's not something we go through.
Yes, it's not
on a consistent basis. So it's like, why spend
the money,
all that money to do something that you may or may not use every now and again?
Exactly. And I was thinking, I can understand that. Like, okay, like, I don't know. I was thinking of it like this: like, when you're faced with that purchasing power to say, we can do this for our equipment, or we can have this kind of equipment. Mm-hmm. When you're thinking about it, you're kind of thinking to yourself, like, okay, as a Texan, it's like, okay, we can winterize it, but when would that ever be used? Yeah. A state that doesn't get that much. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It was, I don't know. It was just very revealing to me.
Yeah, I'm going to say it. I definitely learned more about electricity than I ever knew.
Was it something that stood out to you about, like,
in these past weeks? Well, like you're saying, it's not regulated and stuff. So they were saying how like what the going rate would be like. It had like exceeded that exponentially. And
oh, look, I got it right here. It says the power price is usually about $20, $30, $40 per megawatt hour. Mm-hmm. And because of the extreme events, the price of the power hit a $9,000 cap, which is very extreme. Mm-hmm. And this is coming from Ron Silverstreet, who's a senior analyst at the Neuberger Berman. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I guess that means that what it was costing us to sustain power originally had like exponentially skyrocketed because there was a big demand for it.
Yeah, and it's not regulated, so it's not like when it's regulated, there's like a certain cap that you can't. But see, this is unregulated, so they can really charge whatever because it's not regulated. So it'll be interesting to see when these electricity bills come.
Well, I think that there's going to be a huge, huge byproduct of everything that just happened. Like, I'm interested to see my electric bill next year. Yeah. I mean, next month.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And then they have to realize that, like, if they try to charge these ridiculous amounts, like, what do people just say?
Do people
we're not going to pay them? And then what? So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
And now you're in a situation that the regular customer or consumer of electricity or their power, because like we said, like, it's needed. You can't not have it. Mm-hmm. They're going to take the brunt of the not unwillingness, but the ineptitude of our power grid.
Yeah,
they're going to be faced with the higher prices. They're going to be faced with the infrastructural damages and everything like that they're going to have to shift through. You know what I mean? As a bill payer.
Yeah, month to month. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out because if they just have, the moxie to try to send us those bills, then they're going to have a lawsuit on their hands and stuff. And then, like, I feel like this might change the infrastructure on how things are done in Texas moving forward regarding electricity and whatnot.
You think so?
It'll definitely make people look at it differently and stuff.
Man, just another year of revelations.
Yeah, I'm about to say, man, just continuing on.
Now, let me ask you this. On a different note, because we kind of hit, we said what we said. Mentally, did this storm have an effect on you as a person?
Yeah, I think it just...
Or like, I don't know, personally. I don't know. It don't got to be mental.
It made me like just switch modes mentally. I went to like survival mode because, like I said, I was like, I had power and I had food and stuff. So I was just going about life pretty normal. Then when that electricity went off, that switch just changed in my mind, and I started thinking about survival mode. So I instantly said, because like that was Monday in the storm, another more bad weather was supposed to happen Tuesday night.
Yes.
So I instantly started thinking about that, and like I said, I went to survival mode, and I was like, okay, you need some like if you don't have electricity, what do you need? So I instantly went to the store, bought like a bunch of like non-perishable stuff that didn't need to. And then I started thinking to myself, I was like, okay, in my apartment complex, there's plenty of grills. I can get some stuff. I was like, I didn't even think of that. Because that's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm going to go probably get a cooler. I was like, and then the thing too with me was like, my car, my tires are already like,
oh my God.
My tires are already like, I had just rotated my tires to buy me a little bit more time because it was about time to just get some new tires. So it was like, I didn't have the luxury on like being able to move around to a lot of different places. I kind of had to like slowly make my way to one place and then just do everything I needed to do there. So my first thought was, man, I was like, I'm gonna get a bunch of like I said, a bunch of stuff that don't require to be cooked, just a bunch of non-perishable goods. Then if they happen to have meat, I said I was going to buy a cooler, fill it with ice, just put some meat on there. And then
and
that
just
way,
keep that preserved.
Yeah. And that way I can just go to the grill and just, make it do what it do. But the store I went to, they didn't have any meat because they didn't have any power either. So they didn't have any of that. So I just was like, okay. I was like, it wasn't a big deal. And I was like, the funny thing is, this is what tripped me out about that grocery store I went to. Okay, so they didn't have anything that required refrigeration because like that power had been out.
Right.
And you look in the bread aisle, chip aisle, all completely wiped out. Then you go to like the produce, like where the fruit is. When I say they had a full run of fruit, I was like, man, ain't nobody trying to be healthy in a time like this. Bro, it seemed like nobody had even touched the fruit. And I was like, dang, they was just like, nah, not now.
That goes to show you.
We in survival mode. We ain't got time for none of that pretty stuff. Cause it was like, I promise, like just everything you could see had been depleted. Like people was grabbing, but the fruit, it just looked untouched, like the entire fruit section. I was like, man, y'all, wow. I got me some peanut butter, I just racked up on fruit. I was like, man, like, it just was funny to me. I was like, dang, yeah, people just said we ain't got time for that in a time like this.
I bet I would probably guess that a lot of people's diets went out the window when it was,
man.
Because when it's crunch time, it's crunch time.
But I was like, fruit, that's a good thing, man. It don't need to be refrigerated, that's a good thing to have. Like, you just have a sack of oranges and
you can make a salad. You ain't got to heat a salad up. I mean, yes, and I don't know, that was kind of like going on what you said. Like, I also went to a grocery store, Kroger, and when we went in there, like, it was dark. It probably had about a total of like 25 lights on. A total of 25 lights. And like the lines were stretching back to the back of the store. Like you said, a lot of the things that need to be refrigerated were gone. Produce was there. There were all kind of veggies and fruits and everything like that. And some meats and everything like that. So we were kind of in a situation where we had to make do with what was available. So we in there literally coming up with things to cook while they got this, we can make this. They got this, we can make this. That kind of thing. And that's kind of like the mentality I had tapped into. On another note, I don't know, man. Like, maybe I think too deep into this kind of stuff, but it was kind of a psychological test because there was no schedule. Like, from the rolling blackouts that they were talking about, there was no schedule for when your lights were going to go off and when they were going to come on. You kind of had to just be on edge the whole time. Like, when they going to go off? Like, even when they came on edge, I still felt like this ain't going to last.
Yeah.
Like, this, like, what are we doing now to last us through the next blackout? And then whenever it blacked out, I was like, okay, the lights coming back on at some point. I need to be ready when they come back on. You know what I mean? I prepped all my food so when they came on, we could cook. You know what I mean? Things like that. Or charging your phone, just stretching. Like, I put my phone on airplane mode for like 3 hours. It's like, I ain't got nobody to talk to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm going to save it till when the lights come on. I give them Wi-Fi. I can reach out to whoever I need to reach out and everything like that. Like, I hit you up a couple times. Like, I don't know, man. And now we have this. And it's funny because that was the first, like, that's the blow. And now we got to deal with the swelling. The swelling is the frozen pipes, the water issues. Yeah, I believe. Just about like every county is like on a boil water notice. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people live without water. Some people's pipes are frozen, and some people's pipes have bust. Like, I've gotten like multiple emails from my apartment complex. I don't know about you, but areas in the apartment complex that have like trouble with running water and everything like that. Yeah. And I don't know, man. It's just tough. Yeah. It's just tough, man. Like, I don't know. And to everybody out there that might be going through that, I just want to send my prayers to y'all. Like, I know this is a tough time. It's funny because we actually got like fair weather going into you know what I'm saying, after that. Yeah. But now it seems as though like there are some byproducts and like fallouts of what we went through. They're going to be here. It's going to make us reevaluate our power system, our energy, consumption and everything like that. So
it'll be interesting moving forward.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of people out there that's displaced. A lot of people out there going through stuff, man. I hope they can find what they need. And I hope that as a state we can do what we need so this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, so we're prepared for it the next time.
Which kind of goes into another topic, but I ain't gonna get too deep into it, because if you didn't think climate change was a real thing, that's another episode. But climate, this is it, bro.
It's proof right here.
This is proof right here, and I'm just so happy to make it out to the other side, man. Yeah. What about you, Ed?
Yeah, just happy to make it out. Didn't really sustain any real damage. I didn't have any pipes burst. Nor anyone I knew, they didn't have to deal with that. So that's good. But you know what this really made me like? This was like one of the few times where I was like, man, if only I lived in the house, that way.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Because, like, growing up where we're from, like, it's just like good to just have a generator, because hurricanes and how often those hit and whatnot, and tropical storms. So like, because I was just thinking, I was like, man, if I had a generator and just a barbecue pit,
that'd be good.
Wouldn't be worried about anything. And a cooler, like that way, even if the generator did go out or something, but I got a barbecue pit, got a cooler, have my, like I say, stuff in there to keep cold. Then you just be,
man,
wouldn't even be that hard. Because like I say, for me, it really wasn't that big of a deal. And like when my power was still out that Monday, I was like, was going to go to my friend's house because he didn't live too far from me. And I was like, well, because they electricity was on and off, but I was like, man, if I'm going to be without electricity, I'd rather be with people if I can. And that was the closest to me. So I went over there and like, we kind of just like, because me and my friend kind of had the same mindset, just kind of prepare for the worst. So they had a fireplace. So we went and got some wood and chopped that up and whatnot. And we was kind of just waiting for the electricity to go out, and we had already cooked and stuff that way. When it went out, it wouldn't affect anything. And we kept waiting, and we kept saying, people was like, oh, okay, I guess we're going to have electricity. And me and him was like, just keep everything charged. You never know.
Exactly.
And 2:00 in the morning came, still had electricity. I was like, I'm going to still keep everything charged. And it was funny because that Wednesday, it had finally went off at like 10, but it was literally off for like maybe 30 minutes, then came back on. And I think it never went off from there. And then like I had got like an email from my apartment complex saying that my stuff was back on too. So I just went home that Wednesday and I was just chilling the rest of the week. I mean, the roads were bad, so I didn't want to drive on them, but I had all I needed food wise. So it was just like kind of waiting it out. Then, you know, Friday started to melt real good. What didn't melt Friday was melting Saturday.
Yeah,
so
yeah, probably gone. I think on a very existential level, when things like this happen, it like refocuses your perspective. And this is one of the conversations I was having in my house while the lights was off. Kind of like your friend. Like I took some friends in, and we were sitting around, candles lit, TVs ain't on, service was kind of, you know, in and out even when the light was off. So we had no choice but to talk to each other. And one of the things we talked about was just like how when things like this happen, you realize I'm just a human on Earth. Like I'm on Earth, and I'm just experiencing what Earth got to give me. Everything else is just a construct. Like these walls, look how they didn't matter when the lights went off. You know what I mean? Like, you know, none of that mattered. Like the core things of life, you know what I mean? Is sustain yourself, keep yourself alive, keep yourself fed and clothed and warm. Like for real, bro. Like that's the conversation we had. We really talked about that, and these kind of instances in life that you go through, it don't do nothing but make you more grateful and more thankful. And I want to say that I kind of feel like I benefited from being from Southeast Texas, where we've experienced disasters before, and lights have went out and things weren't available. Now, given that's when the heat was on, but that poses its own set of challenges. You know what I'm saying? Opposite of the cold. But at the core of it, it's like, okay, when things are not there for your comfort, you can make do. And that was one of the things that, like, I'm so thankful because, like, I knew what to do. You know what I'm saying? I knew what food to make. I knew what, you know what I mean? That kind of thing like that. So that was a very, I don't know, personal kind of like thought. I was like just thinking about throughout the whole ordeal, just like, bro, like you got to just be thankful to be alive. And you have to just like, I don't know, just realize your place on the earth. Like it's still a earth. Like we don't control it. It gives us the setting to live in. You know what I mean? And you got to just be thankful for that, bro. Like, I don't know. That's one thing. That was a very deep revelation for me. And I don't know, man. This whole thing, hopefully, we don't have to experience again for no time soon. If we do, oh well. Oh well, we just gonna adjust with the time like we always do, man. Ed, you got anything more to say?
Nope, I think that's it, man. Like you said, it was an interesting week. We made it through it, and hopefully people know what to, you know, if it ever happens again, you know how to be better prepared for it. And
Before we go, I want to say that if you are still experiencing water shortages and everything like that, there's help for you out there. We'll just post some
we'll have some
avenues, whatever things that you can click on and get some help and things like that. There are some people out there doing some good work. Make sure that they can feed families and get them clean water and everything like that. And that'll be in the description for the episode. To everybody else, keep on pushing, man. Like we here through disaster, through the good times. We want to give y'all the transferable experience, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, you want to take us out? Take us out, man.
Till next time.
Thank y'all. Like, share, comment. Rate.
Do all the things.
Do all the things. Do all the things, man.